Omicron. I say that right?
Yes, Omicron.
Omicron COVID variant. This is variant number God knows what.
I think Omicron is the 15th Greek letter in the alphabet. I have no idea.
But they've skipped a few. They skipped Z, the one that was XI, Z, Chi, Chi, Z. I'm terrible at Greek letters, guys. Don't quote me on this. They skipped that because I don't think it'd be good. I think, there's rational reasons, I think. Anyway, they skipped a few.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the 15th variant.
Yeah.
I don't know.
New York City is now they're strongly recommending to wear masks indoors in public places, which sucks. I want to ask you, Andrew, do you think this thing is ever going away?
There is going to be a push and pull between humans and the coronavirus variants out into the foreseeable future. And I would measure that future in months and years. So anyone who imagined that hopefully we'd be done with this thing, there are a number of reasons why we will not be done with this thing. The most obvious are that, one, there's a significant body of humans around the world that are not vaccinated, and there are ample places for this to mutate. Number two is that the world is now interconnected. So guess what? I'm sure Omicron's already alive and well in the United States.
Sure.
I mean, I think Canada just reported a case. I mean, the odds of this being contained to where it was reported.
Well, we're recording this Monday. This airs Thursday. There'll definitely be a case by then, right?
Yeah, that would
probably be a case by the time this airs. Yeah.
And then there's also like a critical mass of unvaccinated people here in the U.S. And so you put all this together, and the odds of this coming here to the U.S. and being a significant factor are very, very high. And oh, by the way, if it's not Omicron, it'll be the
next one.
Greek letter after that, the Greek letter after that. So what we should be doing, in my mind, is accepting that this is the new way of things and the new reality, and then try to mitigate, but live our lives. But by the way, we shouldn't let it obsess us. We shouldn't let it keep us from living our lives. That like there's a risk reward ratio to everything, and the risk is going to be with us for a while. But we should not try and say to ourselves that like the risk is total to a point where it completely changes our behaviors or our relationships.
It's well, the other thing, just to add on that, is that even if you are vaccinated, you're still getting it, and some people are still dying from the vax. The vax is doing good, but it's not foolproof, at least right now, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's what the concern is about Omicron, is that it's got a bunch of mutations that would make it likely to infect someone who has certain antibodies based upon existing vaccines. Now you can have an Omicron specific vaccine that gets developed, and then that would be more helpful. So that's what they're going to work on right now. And we can look forward to all going out and getting that vaccine. Mm-hmm. Incidentally, if you're listening to this, I think that vaccines are a great idea. And if you're still not vaccinated, please do strongly consider doing so, because it'll protect you. Hey, you might even make out well in the sense that maybe you'll get like the cool new Omicron, or you'll get some vaccines that are, like a little bit more developed or with it. Who knows? But I think vaccines are a good countermeasure just for your personal safety and health.
So I was looking at the graph. This is the New York Times, so take that what you will. But the graph of new cases of COVID since it started, let's call it March 2nd of 2020. Do you know when the peak of COVID cases were?
Probably early last year.
It was late 2020, and then the actual peak is January 9th, 2021, early this year. So it wasn't in March. What I thought was that was the spike. The actual spike, at least according to this, like if you just Google COVID cases and what they're from the New York Times, it seemed like such an outbreak, and it was because we were not prepared for it. But we still are getting a ton of cases post-vaccine and or I guess this isn't post-vaccine, but in the winter months. And then the second peak was actually this summer of this year, of 2021, in August and early September. So COVID's still real. I think it's frustrating. I think it's frustrating for all of us. So this is a nuance, right? I'm curious your response to this. So on one hand, COVID's bad. It's deadly. People are dying. They're getting really sick. It's been politicized. The vaccine itself has been politicized. That is not fun. On the other hand, and this is where my question is coming, like we're not a communist society. We believe in capitalism. So if people want really to live in the United States, you have to work, generally speaking. And if they want to work, they got to go outside and they have to work with others. And that risks more COVID exposure, right? So those who can move to like adjust to this lifestyle, I think have, right? There are plenty of folks who had the means and those who wanted to were afraid of COVID. They have, and they could move. They have. They moved to suburbs. They moved to places with outdoor, less people, more outdoor space. But many have not or cannot. So my question, I really want to talk about the policy ideas here, given that this, I think you just kind of outlined, this is probably our new normal for the next 5 years. Like maybe that's too far, but it's not great.
Several years.
A number of years. If this thing's going to keep mutating and we all keep getting sick, what are the policy ideas? I have a couple, but what do you do if you're in charge to navigate this? Because I think what we're doing right now is unsustainable, where it's like, don't mask up. No, mask up. We got to freak out. And like people are like, oh, we're coming back. Oh, we're not coming back. Like I don't know. You have bigger policy ideas that navigate this new normal.
Well, I heard one thing that was not great, which is that apparently there are issues of confidence with the CDC, not just in the public, but in the government.
Yeah.
But they don't want to turn the CDC into a punching bag. Mm-hmm. And so you're looking at it being like, but unfortunately, public confidence has already been shaken. So if you make various recommendations, it's, it's tough as you're describing. It's like, wait, what did you say? What did you say last time?
Yeah.
So the thing we have to acknowledge is that people are human. People have limited ability to absorb different messages and guidance and the rest of it. And so we should set out some broad principles around who you are, what your vulnerability level is, and take it from there, in my opinion. So if you're a normal person, you should expect that, getting vaccinated is a good idea, and that if you're vaccinated, there'll be some risk associated with certain activities. Now, if you're not a vulnerable population, that risk will probably not be anything you can't recover from. Mm-hmm. I will say I have friends and family members who have had long COVID, and it is a beast.
Oh man, it's horrible.
Yeah, like it's terrible, and they will recover. Most people know I had COVID, and so I recovered fully. There was a period when I was short of breath afterwards when I was like, oh, this had better go away. Please let this go away.
Yeah.
And then it did go away, and I was very, very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people who've still been struggling with it. I attended a memorial service of someone's mother who died of breakthrough COVID. I mean, that was freaking terrible. And there are times I look at my mom who's in her 70s and I'm just like, I mean, she's been vaccinated.
Yeah.
But you don't want, anything to break through. So you want to be accepting of the limitations and fallibility of humans, and then lay out a number of things that can be done that could genuinely mitigate the harm. So if you are in a particular environment, I'll give you an example. I went to a Dave Chappelle show the other day, concert, and then they tested the heck out of us on the way in. And I thought that was fine, and then anyone who was in there literally got a test, and you stood there for 10 minutes while they gave you the result and be like negative. And so then you were with a bunch of people where you had a fairly high confidence level that they were all negative. I think that's a fine type of ongoing precaution.
Right. And then there's that accepted level of risk that we all probably need to start accepting, is that COVID's a thing, but we're not going to sit at home all day. So we're still going to go to sporting events and so to go to concerts and restaurants. And
that should be the public policy guidance. It's like, look, there is risk, but you can't eliminate the risk. You can mitigate it. You can do various things. And so that should be the guidance.